Searching for an answer to questions around the significance of the life on Earth, particularly man, Gurdjieff traveled widely in Asia. Inspired by sacred gymnastics, group dances and rituals he saw in his journeys, Gurdjieff created a number of what came to be known as his movements. In the rhythm of certain dances, in the precise movements and combinations of the dancers, certain laws are vividly recalled. Such dances are called sacred, Gurdjieff. The learning of the movements demands a new attitude toward one's body and mind, as they are called forth to work in harmony in various patterns. Yet, the demand is never beyond the capacity of normal man. They are reasonably found accessible by most people. More than anything else, the practice of the movements is a transmission of understanding about man, a three-centered being, and his position in relation to involutionary and evolutionary motions in the universe. The sense of harmonious development conveyed by the movements challenges the ordinary concept of harmony, and invites us to open our presence to the dynamic actions of forces of different characters under the law of three, trying to profit from them instead of being a prey to them like most people do in their passivity. You saw our movements and dances. But all you saw was the outer form, beauty, technique. I do not like the external side you see. For me, art is a means for harmonious development.
For example, in a clock, only the second hand is there working. Neither the hour hand moves nor the minute hand moves, only the second hand goes on moving. What purpose it will serve? unless the whole works and works in harmony, there cannot be a song out of it. The dance, the song, the significance comes into existence immediately, or whole functions in harmony, in accord.
Osho speaks beautifully about movement, but how deceivingly, as someone in the tradition of meditation and enlightenment, seems to have been colored by the idea of condemning the movement of consciousness in time and space, seeing it as disturbance rather than the function of awareness. This is complicated with the careless use of ill-defined words such as mind, thoughts, and thinking. This is further combined with the condemnation the functioning of mind or awareness in certain ways such as judging, comparing, and even the perceiving of duality, which indeed should be the basis of all perceptions and therefore of awareness. One may begin to wonder, if all such things are against the functioning of awareness, what then is awareness? Don't you smell a huge deception, something that runs through the history of the whole East? In this context, what a scandal that he, at the end of his life, asks to have the practice of the movements brought to his commune.
And to perceive this whole phenomena of life, one has to be free of fear. Fear, in every form, is thought in action with regard to the past, through the present and to the future. So, thought, fear, is the movement of time. And it's very important, if we'll be free of fear, to understand this movement of time, which is essentially the process of thinking.
The Gurdjieff story in chapter 39 of the Beelzebub's Tales to his grandson may be interpreted to say that fear, indeed, is the very cause of the creation of the world, the primal cause of all movements. And this fear, indeed, comes from the awareness of time. But what poverty of mind makes some so-called men of awareness in the East to recoil from movement after seeing its origination like this? Where is that full awareness of the whole cycle of the movement that man may attain to, which makes him say, "Lord, have mercy"? The Gautama the Buddha Auditorium was named as such because of a story or vision that the third body of Gautama the Buddha, which somehow remained on earth without disappearing as it should into the higher world or into nothingness, was trying to use Osho. In the summer of 1986, Osho, while being stuck in Bombay at the end of a world tour following the collapse of the Commune in America, publicly affirmed this story when one of his wealthy sannyasins made a declaration about this vision, connecting it with a theosophist version of the story about Maitreya that involved J. Krishnamurti. There seems to be a good chance that Osho used this story as a means to collect money to refurnish the commune in Pune for, indeed. It was quickly reopened and soon a large auditorium bearing the name of Gautama was built. On the other hand, it seemed that Osho himself might have seriously believed in or amused himself too much with this story, which in the end of 1988, escalated into the story of he becoming the host of the wandering soul of Gautama. It then looked like that an old ghost of the East took hold of Osho, as it might have taken hold of many other victims, which definitely would include J. Krishnamurti and Jean de Salzman. A big celebration when, after 4 days, Osho declared that he kicked this stiff old man out of his body.
These 4 days have been of immense difficulty to me. I had thought that Gautam Buddha will be understanding to the change of time. But it was impossible. I tried my hard, but he is so much disciplined in his own way 25 centuries back. He has become a hard bone. I said, you have fulfilled your prophecy that you will be coming back. 4 days are enough. I say goodbye to you. And now you need not wander around the earth. You just disappear in the ultimate blue sky.
The story about Maitreya had already been modified by so-called Mahayana Buddhists before it was mixed up with the story of second coming by the Theosophists. The original story attributed to Gautama, titled Kakavati Sutta, DN 26, is entirely different, as it discourages hope in future Buddhas, although it includes a joke-like remark on Maitreya. Gautama repeats in the beginning and end of this story the famous injunction that one must make an island of oneself, where the word island, Dipa, is connected with the memory of a legendary island, Jambudvipa, so it should not be interpreted as light as is done by many. Then Gautama tells the story of how the lineage of Buddhas has been connected with and depended on sponsorship from the lineage of despotic state rulers, who become less and less benign after every generation. So, the lineage of Buddhas must also decline. This trend, according to this story, can be reversed only by the appearance of few individuals who are totally fed up with this trend, and begin to resist the downfall, working in small groups. When this evolving trend will have changed the entire climate of the mankind, the island may be re-established and another Buddha, the Maitreya, may appear among them. As mentioned in part 3 of this video series, I have started leading small groups in Japan centered around the practice of the movements since 1997. The group began to meet for about 10 times a year in the Nagoya Municipal Youth Hostel to work on several pieces of the movements nearly to choreographic completion by working intensely for 2 to 5 full days at one time. After saying goodbye to the wandering soul of Gautama, or an old ghost of the East that appeared as such, Osho began to use the name Osho. Taking one character from the name of my father as I also did from my birth, a character symbolizing threefold emanations from the primal source, which eventually must change their course in order to go back to and reblend with the source of their arising. Plavan, my name as Sannyasin, includes this meaning of going back. As being equivalent of pleuvoir in French, it signifies a flow from the above that produces on earth the growth toward the above. In the same period, Osho designed a new emblem for his movement, replacing the old one that had been made in mockery of the Enneagram.